This very world has now become a strange hell, filled with dark monsters. Invulnerable indeed to all ordinary weapons here. The only true hope for humanity is a select few with real superpower. The strongest hero among them all was our MC, Heinat. But even this hero is certainly not almighty, and when betrayed by a dark organization and trapped cruelly with dozens of monsters lurking, he died, most unfortunately for us. He regressed back in time, too, it seemed. Before the apocalypse, he was reborn in the tiny body of a baby, retaining his sharp knowledge of monsters and his key main power nap, which allows him to absorb the powers and core abilities of these monsters. He kills after carefully looking all around much more cautiously. He realizes then that he has somehow become a very babe. As he's trying hard to figure out what in the world is truly going on, a slippered foot slowly walks right into his little room. He immediately goes fully on alert now, backing himself quickly into the corner of his baby crib. As the strange, looming person looms large over him now, his clever mind swims now with so many different thoughts, as he tries hard to figure out just who this person is, and truly if they are from the organization itself. But then the woman leans down, with a truly loving look now, and greets him as Akan. It looks like this strange woman is his mother, yeah, and she came indeed to check on him once she realized he was away. The woman then goes back to cooking, once she realizes he's alright now, and Kay, who's now Achan here, takes a quiet moment now to look around. Everything here looks peaceful and really quite clean, quite unlike the harsh world that he's used to. The TV is on, and he can hear people moving just around outside. It also doesn't look like there are any monsters lurking outside here. This is very clearly an era of profound peace, and for him to suddenly find himself here as a baby now, that truly means that he must have gotten reincarnated. Yeah, he is now in another world, where the catastrophe didn't happen at all, and more importantly, there's no organization here right now. That means for the first time in a truly long time, Achan will finally have a genuine taste of real freedom. Despite everything that he has gone through in his long life, the god of fate truly hasn't abandoned him just yet. This day, indeed, will always be remembered as the day of new beginning. He takes a quick look at the nearest calendar and sees the year is 2020 now, meaning that he woke up before the great catastrophe, somehow. That's not good at all since he can't do anything with his current baby body. He simply can't even stand up without holding onto something firm, and his little limbs, alas, are too small to support his tiny body. His throat also feels quite strange compared to his older, former body, so he can't even talk either. All of that is certainly terrible news for him. Since time is truly of the essence now, there's absolutely no time for him to just be a normal baby at all. When the world is actually about to enter the apocalypse soon, Heian looks thoughtfully towards his mother now, and wonders deeply if she is someone he can truly rely on now. Instead of actually relying on her deeply though, maybe he can simply use her like a puppet perhaps. To achieve all of his goals, she absolutely has to be good for something real. Even if she does not look too very reliable clearly, she's currently the only adult that he can get some access to so far. He wonders to himself if she is at least somewhat flexible then, but boxes falling from the shelf are enough indeed to disprove that. She isn't good with her hands, apparently either, as she piles an utterly impossible high amount of flour into a bowl while cooking now. Neither is she truly good at cooking, and almost burns down the house trying to make breakfast then. It's just obvious that she can't really do anything, but tries at least her very best to take care of her baby here. Even with her own hair roasted by the fire she caused earlier now, it already truly feels like the end of the world, and the future of his new life looks so very rough now. The doorbell then rings, and his mother goes to answer the door, and receive a package that just recently indeed came in now. Before she simply opens the door though, she has to quickly find her wallet so she can pay for delivery. As she now leaves to find her wallet soon, John tries to remember the last time he has heard that very word. The last time he remembered hearing about the packages was when workers took packages to meet such a lot of people. Those delivery workers also happened to be very infected then, and it truly ended up being a terrifying situation indeed, as he starts to clearly realize the true situation, and what that package delivery might actually really mean now. The front door slowly opens up, and a ghoulish, chilling voice comes in from the other side now, urging him quite strongly to take that packet. As the door fully opens, it's just as Achan precisely predicted here. The person outside, on the other side, is infected now, and they have terribly turned into a true delivery monster. Achan can't be too scared, and even with his baby body truly, he simply has to find something now to use to properly defend himself. The only thing now truly available to him is the baby bottle that his loving mother gave him, and a soft pillow as well. Right, he quickly grabs that soft pillow and throws it onto the ground now, when suddenly this monster launches a violent attack straight at his small head. The powerful blast brutally cuts right through the small crib, and Heian quickly grabs his bottle now, before making a fast, quick escape right out of the crib, and landing smoothly on the pillow that he threw to the ground earlier now. It really doesn't have to be ever said that if a blast just like that touches him, then for sure, he's definitely dead really. Luckily enough, He has enough real experience fighting monsters from his past life still, and truly from that experience indeed, he knows surely that there's just no way he can beat his current strong opponent. It clearly looks like a truly amplified monster now, and truly on top of that, the tentacles on its head look even more dangerous too. But another important thing he knows now is that strong monsters truly, like these ones, are terrible indeed at making really tight turns right now. He tosses his bottle very lightly under the monster's actual, and then it trips on it while rushing straight towards him quickly, flying rapidly over his head here, and actually crashing through the window for really the first time ever indeed. Haechan is genuinely grateful for each brutal battle right now that he even went through in his past life now, as he's now celebrating his big victory here. A monstrous tail sprouts out fast from his very back there, and swiftly rushes out the window quickly after the monster now. It instantly reaches the lifeless dead body laying on the street now, and swiftly eats up the monster core quickly. Just like a living being, Haechan keenly grabs the tail, and now looks at it as it munches on the monster core there. Yes, he's quite familiar with it indeed, since this very ability he had clearly in his previous life. The tail of Todi then, it's a seriously powerful ability, but he truly has no idea why he still has, even after the reincarnating process. The coming great catastrophe is set to happen 4 years hence, and Kei in his past life was actually born 3 years after that time, so he just plain doesn't know what's fully going on. But he's very incredibly lucky to simply get this ability out of nowhere. In his past life, he certainly got the ability that, after absorbing a core from a monster that had a Taui tail too. Another fortunate thing here now is that, the younger someone activates their power now, the much stronger it will actually turn out to finally be. To simply test it out now, he turns his hand into one sharp blade and uses it to strike his crib, bending it instantly quite like in his past life. He awakened truly as an S-class when he was about 7, but since he wields this power even as just an infant, then surely he will indeed become the legendary triple S rank now. This time indeed, this is his ultimate ticket to vast riches, fame and many beautiful women. In that grand case surely, he really doesn't need to stick around in this humble house, and play such the role of a clueless, innocent babe, as he slowly crawls away now, to start his exciting new life. The very crib that he bent earlier now starts to suddenly fall, and its deadly aim is directly right on top of young him now. Haechan frantically tries to move swiftly out of the way here, but his small body gives up entirely on him. He's left unable to move at all. The heavy metal crib eventually loudly cracks and starts falling to the side quickly, and the absolute last thing he sees as his eyes finally close tight, is his mother frantically, desperately rushing quickly to his side now. As the crib rapidly falls down now, he vividly remembers his long past life, and his ruthless old master that put him through many horrible, dark trials. The cruel man made him do incredibly disgusting things, like even eating dog food to survive full. Things exactly like that there were solely to brutally prove that he really truly is just the organization's loyal dog. Haechan now grits his teeth tightly, angry now at the fact that he is referred to as the organization's dog. He wakes slowly as the bright sun starts to shine upon his face. It looks like he blacked out completely after defeating that monster. He slowly pushes himself up now, and sees his mother sitting close by, and writing in a book. It looks like she managed to save him after all. But now, the important question is why he passed out in the first place. It looks like perhaps the power of his ability is simply too much for his body. He only just used it there for 30 seconds, and yet it completely wore him out, leaving him utterly defenseless. For now, truly he needs to get stronger indeed, if he wants to be able to handle his awesome powers again. As he's deeply thinking about exactly that, he hears the soft sounds of his dear mother crying soft. He takes a look now at the book that she's clearly reading, and it's covered now in sticky notes on the well-worn page. She writes of how she almost devastatingly lost her precious treasure. It seems very much like she's talking about him there. There's also a nasty bruise visible on her back, and it's likely, very likely that she got the bruise from protecting it. His dear mother from his past hard life would have gladly sold him onward to the organization for quick profit, and yet this woman fearlessly risked herself just to protect him now. He reaches one of his tiny hands out to comfort her gently, and then, as soon as she truly feels him touching her there, she reaches over quickly and grabs him into a very tight hug. It clearly looks like this woman really is different from the other, and that makes him decide now to stay with her for a while regardless. There's truly still not a lot of time left now, and the entire world will change greatly in less than a single week. The next monster should already definitely be on its way, and he needs to fight now for more than just 30 seconds at least, if he wants truly to protect his brand new home safely. Outside of their small apartment, a window cleaner shivers in sharp pain as blue slime begins seeping out. Mouth and then also nose too. The strange blue slime slips swiftly down and enters the drain pipes below, all on its own way to somewhere quite specific clearly. As Heian now is considering carefully his very next step, his own mother brings something special over covered in a red blanket. She removes the blanket soon to reveal a dog right inside a cage for him. She got the dog indeed from their neighbor so that he can have a companion now. John remembers that very dog from his past life now. It was a truly fierce mutt back then, and he never thought he would ever see it again in this life here. On top of that, the dog is way too big to be just a baby's playmate. However, this whole thing might turn out to be quite good for John. His mother might be a little ditzy perhaps, but it looks like she can be quite useful sometimes now. After all, if he trains the dog right indeed, then it can definitely end up becoming a strong ally in life, and it can even grow into quite a means of transportation. See, having such a big dog might not be so bad after all then. His mother smiles softly at the little grin on his small face. It really looks like she made the right decision for it, and it at least made him very happy indeed. She then leaves the two of them there to play for a while she goes off to do some more daily chores around their house. Ahan stares the dog down as he wonders now what he's going to do with it. For now, he's surely going to need to feed it something first here. He gives the dog a sausage now from the kitchen and orders it to eat it once. If he just eats it now, then Heian will surely become its master, and training can begin soon. Despite the baby's attempt there at forming a contract with the dog, it seems like it's just too simple-minded still to understand what they are doing here. As the dog bends way down to pick up the sausage quickly, Heian abruptly stomps hard on his head, showing clearly off the difference there in their power dynamic now. However, even though the dog doesn't truly understand what the baby is saying, that just doesn't mean at all that it'll tolerate such disrespect. It punches Heian hard with two well-placed paws right to the face, sending the poor baby flying away. Then it turns away now to enjoy its sausage there in peace. But this baby just isn't going to take that at all. Laying down briefly, Heian leaps right up to attack the dog. With a very loud battle cry indeed, he pounces right on the dog and the two of them fight it out now. While the delighted mother laughs there at their antic, it certainly looks like the two of them have already truly become friends. As she's cooking now, she realizes that she's quite out of flour now. When she bends fully down now to try and find it though, suddenly, a blue slime monster comes up from the kitchen sink, and it towers menacingly over the fighting dog and baby both, clearly aiming directly for the oblivious woman now, who is still just trying to find flour and cook something new. Now, the slime monster lifts itself into the air, and aims straight directly for Heian's own mother it seems. But the dog springs swiftly into action and rushes for the monster. Before it can hurt her badly, it gets there just in time it seems, to push her into the sink cupboard just before the slime can strike. Thankfully and luckily, the mother doesn't know what's going on here. While the slime and the dog continue to fight hard right behind, Heian watches this whole crazy thing happen now, with quite an unimpressed look upon his face. Really, the monster truly is way too weak for any real big problem, but it will still certainly be troublesome to truly deal with now. Its liquid nature makes slashing, stabbing attacks entirely useless, so they have to think, and find another way to deal with it soon. His mother tries hard to get herself out of the cupboard soon, but she's more concerned right now about the pain in her head, not even realizing yet. See the intense battle happening right now between the dog and the monster. Behind her, the slime eventually and surely starts to envelop the brave dog, and begins ominously to morph into something quite different indeed. Chan now is going to have to act swiftly before things truly get out of control here. He remembers distinctly from his past battles fought that this slime monster is particularly weak to dryness of course, so Chan has to find something quickly to use to dry it all up. He immediately notices his bottle, filled fully with powdered milk and swiftly opens it before tossing it directly at the slithering monster. The slime recoils sharply and shrinks drastically in size before bouncing wildly around the room now. Losing vital moisture, thanks to the milk, has sent it into a wild panic, and it's fiercely reacting quite negatively because of it all. John swiftly takes this unique opportunity now. Once it stops its erratic moving to trap it tightly under a dustbin immediately. It certainly looks now like things have completely cleared up finally, and both the dog and his beloved mother carefully peek their heads up tentatively from safely behind the sturdy kitchen counter. His poor mother then accidentally spills flour all over on the both of them entirely, leaving them even more severely disoriented than they already were truly. Precisely because of this chaotic flour spill incident, his mother quickly rushes off now to go and wash herself clean, before those flour stains further ruin her outfit. Meanwhile, though, Ahan continues to truly enjoy the thrill of managing to catch a monster. Slimes can surely be used as a natural monster repellent effectively, which simply means that if he carefully manages to spread the slime's liquid on all the windows, then it can definitely act like a deterrent from any monster attacks that sadly may happen in the near future. Suddenly then, the dustbin now starts to shift, and the slime leaps right out from under it. Taking advantage of this sudden silence as an opportunity to escape quickly, the dog gets right in front of it before it can get too far away, and H swiftly rushes over to try and trap it all over again, but it somehow still manages to easily slip away now, this very time completely avoiding getting trapped under the dustbin. Before it leaves entirely, it raises a middle finger at the two of them, as indeed it slips smoothly out of the window. The slime originally came to their home entirely on its own and caused chaos, and then even had the audacity indeed to try and leave on its own free will. It may be quite weak, but it's too cocky for both of their likings now, and that fact makes them too angry now to allow it to escape freely. Haechan grabs a nearby umbrella as a crucial weapon, and climbs onto the dog as a trust deed indeed. It's time now for him to chase after the monster before it gets too far, and ends up causing even more terrible trouble. There's absolutely no way they can simply let it escape, so that it can cause further trouble for them or anyone else in the future. They quickly get to the ground floor of the building now, and they see the slime perched right on top of a building now. It drips its strange liquid on the head of a girl passing by below, and she immediately looks right up, just in time to see it leaping right down and trying to swallow her up whole. Haechan and his dog immediately rush swiftly to her rescue, as the baby frantically tries to figure out what he can do right now. If he simply uses his very own strength now, he definitely won't at all be able to hold out against the fierce slime. But if they somehow let the monster feed freely on this poor girl, then the whole place will ultimately end up becoming a bloody sea indeed. That specific kind of scene is indeed something that Haechan has seen before. Enough of that in his past life it seems. The dog, so fast, is just in time to reach the small girl, and it leaps over her as Haechan opens the umbrella wide now, blocking the rain of slime before it can even hit the girl here. The slime is undeterred still, and jumps right off the umbrella. This time, it's aiming to attack the poor dog and baby directly. Since Haechan can only manage to use his powers briefly now, he has just one shot to use and completely end the monster here. He shoots a truly enhanced punch with all his amazing power, blowing right through the vile monster, immediately destroying. The slime then explodes and rains down all over the area now, completely defeated at last, while Haechan and the dog stand so victorious after the short battle. Thankfully indeed, he was in time to save the girl before she became slime food here. But she also saw him use his powers, and she truly looks terrified. Without wasting even a single second more, the scared girl takes off sprinting quickly down the road just now. It's quite understandable that she had to run away fast, considering the terrifying scene that she just witnessed here. The much more difficult thing to think about truly is how incredibly long it'll actually take him to clean up this big mess. His tail now comes out from his diaper there, and then goes to absorb all of the slime scattered around the street now. It clearly looks like the tail indeed has the power to absorb. Another monster's unique ability here. In his previous past life, the only way for K to absorb a totally new ability ever is if he then switches it out with his previous one he had. However, now instead, the tail is quickly, really eating up all of the scattered slime liquid, and turning that new power fully into his very own now. He boldly tests out the power by forming a slime ball right in his hand, and it really does indeed look like the two distinct powers are coexisting. In his former past life, young K tried his absolute best to make quite sure that he switched ability, as little as at all possible, so he wouldn't get caught by the organization. That sadly ended up being his actual downfall in the end for it. But that really doesn't change how truly strange it is that the tale of Tao Te somehow magically evolved quite on its very own here. It could most likely be indeed because of his young age. The younger the age a person is when abilities start developing, the stronger the eventual power of their ability will be, and the faster that person is able to then adapt quite well to it. K became an eligible user for new abilities at 10 years of age, but everyone younger than him unfortunately died. Most children simply can't survive such monster toxin, and they all ended up then dying as soon as they were exposed to them. But K now is even younger than all of the other potential candidates from his past life, meaning his growth potential now is incalculable. While he was quietly thinking about how to do these things, his loyal dog brought him carefully back home quite safe. He jumps swiftly off the back of his trusty steed, and then uses his new slime powers to fully coat the area, ensuring now that no monsters will be coming to his home anymore. But just simply doing that alone has already drained him of all energy, and ultimately left him truly exhausted. There's truly no use thinking of getting even newer ability, or fully adapting to his current ability for now, because, truly, his stamina is just way too low now for him to even be able to really do anything at all. With all his powers, however, he doesn't need to even worry too much about the potential future then, since the monsters shouldn't come and disturb them anymore now, thanks to his new slime barrier too. Achan collapses hard to the floor now in exhaustion, and the dog comes right over to him with a menacing look indeed. It looks like it's finally the time for the dog to get his revenge here for all of that humiliation from earlier on. The dog leans way down and picks Achan right up by his shirt scruff, and just for a moment now, The poor baby thinks he's truly about to be turned into dog food too. Back in the apartment, his mother comes out of her shower just now, fully cleaned now of all the flour that poured all earlier. She heads over to the living room just to see how her son's doing now, and she sees him all snuggled up with the dog right on the floor too. It might look like they are snuggled up so close, but in reality, Chan is struggling fiercely now against the massive weight of the dog right on top of it. A few hours swiftly pass, and the baby now is able to free himself from that fluffy prison, to then get to work on actively protecting the apartment. He cleverly manages to coat the windows and all the vents, and he coats also the drainage pipes with the special slime he made. Now, even if indeed a major disaster hits the entire house, they will surely be safe here for a little while longer. While indeed doing all of that now, he was absolutely able to figure out the current state of the Taodai tail. Apparently, it can now stock up to 4 separate abilities at once here, unlike in his former past life, where he had to swap one out for the other. Right now currently he can use both the Taeyong tail and his slime power, but only truly for about half a minute here. In order to best prepare for any major disaster upcoming, he's definitely going to need to do other things right now. One of the very first things any survivor desperately needs badly in the apocalypse is essential supplies. The biggest primary cause of death directly after the disaster wasn't even those monsters. It's the sheer starvation quickly caused by disrupted logistics there, which eventually soon led to the truly desperate scramble for supply. If someone can manage to stockpile unnecessary supplies early on now, and completely avoid the escalating conflict altogether here, that very person can even create dedicated followers here, and surely have people right on their very side. During the most incredibly dangerous parts of this disaster, yes, Haechan absolutely will need to prepare it very soon as is possible, but as just a baby, there's surely a realistic limit to what he can do. Supermarkets are incredibly crowded now, and eventually, these very places will be full of terrifying monsters. If even just one single person gets infected though, this disease will spread around quickly and rapidly, with truly no hope of slowing down. With just his current small body, Haechan definitely really won't be able to handle a massive large horde entirely alone, but there also really aren't many safe places that he can get supplies from. Right now, as he's carefully thinking about any other better option, he truly might have to get vital supplies sometime in the near future. His dear mother's phone loudly rings there on the living room table. He quickly goes to actively check just who it surely is, and sees many urgent messages steadily coming in from the landlord's group chat. Luckily, quite luckily, her phone isn't currently locked, so he can easily open it right up and really see what's going on now. The people in that group chat are discussing a weird virus indeed, that's rapidly spreading all around now, and how the people infected by this virus are becoming actual monsters. It's quite clear that they don't yet know the full severity of this apocalypse that's soon coming now. And Achan truly is more than happy to enlighten them a bit here. He very sneakily creates an account and quickly hops right into the room, informing the people about how a great disaster is coming soon, and they really need to get their supplies before everything descends to chaos. Although he's trying to truly help them by giving some carefully guided instructions here. It's now clear that absolutely no one believes a word he said. The simple fact that he doesn't even currently have a profile yet, since he freshly created that account just now, also really doesn't help his current case. There's really nothing for him to do currently as a baby, and even those online forums aren't of much help here either. At this current rate, all of them will certainly end up dying before the organization even fully formed. A friend request suddenly comes in now on the very phone. He accepts the request, purely out of great curiosity now, and the person on the immediate other end quickly cuts to the chase, and explicitly tells him that they urgently want to make a deal with him, specifically if he is really searching diligently for more supply. The person's username is Hot, and it sounds familiar instantly to the babe. That was surely the very same name of a woman who once worked for their organization. That was also explicitly named Hot. His educated guess is precisely spot on indeed, and the person specifically on the other side of the screen indeed is the very Hot that he's actually thinking specifically of. She relaxes casually back against her chair, in a bright room fully filled now with computers and many gadgets, all while quickly texting him back now. It certainly looks like things are about to get very, very interesting indeed for her. It's extremely clear that whoever she's intently talking to presently is a very cautious person. However, strictly before making genuinely any type of formal deal, they definitely want intently to hear precisely what her ultimate plan actually is. Even talking intently to them has already quickly become very troublesome, and they've certainly barely spoken essentially actually any words explicitly to each other yet. So she decides to be quite direct and make him a tempting proposal, all in hopes of sealing their very crucial deal. She even offers to give him all the supplies he wants outright, whether that is food, fresh water perhaps, armor or whatever else that they may vitally need indeed. The only specific thing that she will place a firm price on now is truly any critical information that he acutely needs then. That indeed goes for 100 million yen precisely. But quick transportation is similarly also a problem currently, so she additionally offers to give the essential information he needs now. If he then gives her 20% of the gathered supplies that he collects, surely both the tone in her voice and the 100 million yen starting price proposed sound indeed like something more properly fitting for a grade schooler. Exactly. Looking closely at this quite logically here, there is truly no way that this person he's talking to is not the one he keenly remembers from that organization in full now. He continues engaging relations sharply with her, clearly directly asking her outright why he should so trust anything she says there. On top of all that, he also subsequently asks that why he should even agree further to the very negotiations in the first place currently. Hot asks him quite directly if he hopes to become an enemy instead of an ally here. She would surely prefer that they get along just fine, instead of simply bickering or even distrusting each other so much. The baby totally agrees now, and asks to quickly know where the place to pick up the supplies actually is. She tells him clearly that she put the critical information in a mailbox at the bottom floor of the apartment building right there, where he now lives. The organization hasn't fully formed quite yet, which specifically means that Hot isn't an executive of it yet here. And despite that fact, she's still a very dangerous woman indeed, who skillfully uses information to toy with people for her own dark gain. Once she firmly sets her determined eyes on her key target now, she will use every sly trick she knows to fully exploit the person to the fullest possible extent that she certainly can right now. There's no possible way she would ever want to get along well with someone that she only just started now talking to really. She just wants now to lure him quickly into a trap using information as the bait itself. This key time, however, Achan is wise to her cunning tricks, and he will be the one to stir things right up, not her. He takes a much-needed rest first and sleeps soundly for 2 hours even. By the time that he fully wakes up now, his used-up stamina from earlier truly is completely recovered, and he's all ready to go and simply get the information he needs so much. The elevator indeed has security cameras now, and he definitely doesn't want to reveal his true identity to her now so easily like that, and so instead, he keenly turns his full attention now to the nearby stair. As he gets right there, he realizes that there is truly one big problem with his cunning plan. He remains a baby still, and the stairs are much too difficult for him indeed to climb. With his current little body in that exact case, he firmly has to rely on his fluffy companion right now. He turns right to the dog sleeping now on the comfortable couch, knowing full well that the pooch is his only real hope of getting to that mailbox soon. Achan boldly goes to wake the sleeping dog up by grabbing now the dog's long tail and just dragging it firmly. But the dog is actually not amused at all. It slaps Achan away sharply with its strong tail, sending the poor little kid flying with a bright red cheek indeed. And Achan thought deeply that he had managed to tame the beast easily, but it certainly looks like they are still not on particularly good terms here. He spots something useful on the kitchen counter right now that should certainly be able to help his cause quite a bit. It's a box of tasty treats now, and he should be able to use them to lure the eager dog into helping him now. He pours some of the delicious dog treats in his own hands here, and brings them right up to its eager nose now, in just a matter of seconds. The clever dog gets up and agrees to the deal almost immediately here. It looks like despite its quite strong faith, the MUD is actually rather easy to please indeed now. With his transportation completely secured now, the very next step is getting quickly to the place where Hot dropped and then she came down now to look for them after not seeing them for a little while. Hot cries echo over the grave loss of her spider device now, but luckily indeed, it seems like the audio function still works fine. She then can hear a female voice coming on the other side, and just then, she realizes that the call function also still works, which simply means that they should also clearly be able to hear her. She then picks up the mic and bravely tries to threaten whoever is on the other end now, warning them firmly that they have certainly not yet won, just simply because they managed to squash her precious spider. Now especially that she has indeed heard their real voice, she can boldly expose all of their messages and their dark past history. All over the entire internet she valiantly continues taunting them now, but whoever they are on the other end simply doesn't respond back. Instead, quite strangely they continue talking calmly to someone else now, commenting gently about how they are wearing such light clothes now. That's definitively when Hot realizes now that sadly the person on the other end simply can't hear her, and so she's apparently just been talking directly to herself the whole time. On top of all that, after doing a small bit of diligent research, even with her vast network and connections still, she can't quite seem to find out who that person on the other side is. Whoever they are completely hidden now. She truly has no idea. Meanwhile, Haechin gets a free ride back to their apartment from his dear mother. She scolds him gently for coming out all on his own and tells him just how incredibly dangerous it is out there. Meanwhile, the mechanical spider lays there crushed right on the floor now, and it can only now be used at a mere 4% capability now. Hot eventually and quickly reaches out to H again now, and tells the baby now that she will give out the vital information for free, as well as the supplies. It looks like now she has given up already though, and it's almost quite disappointing how incredibly easily she gave up then, despite all of the massive trouble she actually caused indeed. When they both return back to the apartment later, Haechin is surprisingly now let off the hook seemingly for running right out of the apartment. His mother actually thinks that the dog opened the door all by itself, and that the baby crawled out slowly afterwards then, while still half asleep precisely because of that. He won't be able to truly use the dog for quite a while now, and it has been carefully tied up to avoid any further instances like these indeed. According to her, quite a warehouse-style supermarket will soon open, which likely means that she is going to give them supplies soon, from an inventory that she actually stole from others first. For her to do that so willingly there, she's being rather generous, despite everything else really. If he's planning to gather materials himself, then he clearly needs to do it sooner rather than later then. But first, he has to figure out a way to get to the supermarket itself, in the first place anyway. He already left a flyer out on the table for his mother to see first, but sadly, she hasn't even noticed it yet. There's absolutely no way that he can just directly tell her about the end of the world now, but he's definitely going to need to do something soon, as he's currently trying to figure out just what to do specifically. He overhears her then talking in detail about how there are only 5 days worth of milk left now. That is indeed a perfect opportunity, and he can truly use that to his advantage now. He gently pushes over the cup of milk on the table there, and then pretends still to be deeply asleep right there. When she quickly comes over to check the noise now, when she carefully goes to clean up all the milk now, she finally clearly notices the flyer on the table for the supermarket here. She then picks it up and starts to consider checking it all out now, and everything is going all completely according to H now. John's intricate plan. The day finally comes for their trip to the warehouse here, and she dresses up the baby in cute pink clothes indeed, much to his complete disappointment indeed now, while they both are truly out now. The loyal dog has been left at home with plenty of good food to eat now. They soon reach the bustling supermarket, but just before she can even enter, a stern security guard rushes over quickly to ask her what she's doing around this area. He sadly tells her that there is a terrible infectious disease going all around now, and people are seriously supposed to refrain from casually going around indeed. The worried mother tries to tell him she just wants to buy powdered milk for her sweet baby, but the strict guard is having absolutely none of her excuses. He's just a government worker, and John knows well that the government will soon disappear now, so they truly don't have to worry about these things for long now. The guard is only doing this because he has been ordered directly to, and then he tells her that she really should just go home. As he's talking calmly to her there, he doesn't notice at all the monster stalking up behind him then, until it suddenly puts its huge hand on the poor man's head. In just an instant, the monster squeezes tightly its large hand, and then the man's head pops quite like a bloody balloon now. Then it cruelly sets its sights on the defenseless mother and child neck. This monster here is a lot larger indeed than anything Chan has faced so far, and it's quite a strong proliferative type as well, so it also doesn't seem to have any particular weak points sadly either. He really doesn't want to fully reveal all of his true strength, but if he doesn't use all of his power now, then both his dear mother and he will surely die here. There's no time left to waste, and he's about to spring quickly into action. But just then, his mother plucks him right out of the stroller, and she desperately tries to just make a good run for it now. Haechin surely knows that running away is quite useless, since this terrible thing is a whole different species now. It's way faster indeed than a mere human, and his mother has truly no hope of escaping on foot now. As the monstrous monster gets much closer to them both, Haechin then notices a case of fire extinguishers on the wall, and suddenly he uses his mighty powers to break the case open. It explodes greatly and covers the whole entire area in a gap. The sudden dense cloud is enough now for Haechin indeed to quickly squeeze right out of his mother's protective arm, and boldly attack the monster, sending it flying away hard and crashing into a wall. He has about just 30 seconds left until the dust truly settles, to effectively take care of this awful monster. In that intense 30 seconds now, he definitely is going to need to settle this fight with the monster quickly, before his dear mother notices exactly what's even going on here. His poor mother has sadly passed out now, because of the truly sudden attack from the frightening monster, so he certainly has to make sure to take care of everything soon before she wakes up again. Luckily indeed for him, she's unconscious right now from the earlier strong impact, but alas, there's no time. The proliferative type has its true core in its head now. If he can manage to strike its vulnerable head quick, then it will definitely die in just one hit then. However, sadly the monster is still completely unharmed, even after the powerful strike he bravely gave it earlier here. Brave Haechan has to make very sure to finish off this beast in one single blow here, before it can ever get back up and hurt both him and his dear mother. There's no easy shortcuts he can easily use like all the other times now. This intense time he's going to have to bravely fight it head on with just his own raw strength alone. Thankfully so. He can at least finally stand straight this time and thankfully doesn't have to crawl around anymore. The vile monster then takes the initiative and swiftly jumps right towards the brave child. But thankfully Haechan is indeed able to dodge completely out of the way now, before it can ever take Valiant him down now. He then fiercely uses his amazing ability to slice up the huge monster now, with thin deadly strands of his true toady ability too. Sadly he didn't quite manage to fully take out the monster just yet, but he at least bravely managed to make it truly bleed though. After that powerfully heavy attack things really don't look so good right now actually. But brave Haechan is very sure that the valiant one who is going to ultimately win is him soon. He rushes off quickly to attack the monster again now, this time sure that he can at least hold his own fully against. All thanks to his remarkably small body, he is able now to easily dodge most of its vicious attack, and uses his toady ability string to swing around its large body, and wrap it tightly around it. Then once he safely lands, he pulls hard on the sharp string once again, cutting right through it quite instantly then. It seems right now like he has clearly the upper hand, but he still certainly needs to strike the monster in its head to defeat it. Luckily for him indeed, with a monstrous body as large as that, it makes it difficult to properly aim for such a fast-moving baby. It also just can't fully use its full terrifying strength then, because of just how fast it's forced to desperately move now. For the truly enormous monster, it would be like chasing a tiny mouse. Eventually, Haechan is about now to outrun and outsmart the monster quite perfectly, wearing it down quite severely now until it can barely clearly move. This all comes thanks fully to the hard experience he has strongly built from brutal battles in his old past life. Up till now, thanks to the consistent attacks just from the baby alone, the monster's raw power has been greatly reduced quite significantly, and just one more solid hit should truly be enough to take it down now. He can't get too smug about it though ever, and although the monster has been severely weakened by those constant attacks now, it uses all of its remaining strength to grab one nasty of the spikes from its back, and chuck it at the baby with incredible raw strength indeed. Haechan is certainly fast enough to dodge the worst of the attack there, but it still manages to cut deeply now right into his forehead. He hops quickly away, putting significant distance between him and the monster now, before it can possibly launch another one of those attacks again. If it continues to attack exactly like that always, then the baby has simply no real chance of getting closer to finish it off now. For now, he has to try and think up another clever strategy perhaps, like a surprise attack, or he has to quickly find a way to divert its full attention right now. There's essentially no time left to spare either, and he will soon unfortunately feel the after effects of using the full strength of his raw powers for now anyway. He might have to quickly run and take his mother away before she gets hurt now, as he's still desperately trying to figure out exactly what to do indeed. He now notices his dear mother helplessly looking all around. Back down at the ground floor it seems now. It looks like his time sadly ran out faster than he anticipated, and now she has fully woken up and she's desperately looking around for it. As she intently searches all around for him now, she comes face to face with the fearsome monster and stares up at it in shock indeed. Instead of immediately running though, she reaches deep into her pocket to quickly get something there, and H desperately yells loudly for her to quickly run away now, because she definitely surely won't be able to bravely take on the monster all by herself. But as the main protagonist's own mother though, she definitely indeed has some smart tricks of her very own. From her pocket she bravely pulls out a stun gun and directly shoots it at the monster, zapping it hard with intense electricity and causing the beast to freeze right up there. It may seem unorthodox there, but this bold move is exactly the diversion that the baby was looking for here. Haechan then leaps right off the building towards the busy streets far below, right as the vile monster recovers now and swipes at his very own mother, sending her truly flying backwards quite far, as she falls directly to the cold floor, conveniently looking away now from the fierce monster. Haechan dramatically comes descending from the vast skies with a massive attack now, intent on ultimately taking out the trash once and for all for sure. The monster slowly looks up then, just in time here to see a baby with a massive buildup of pure energy now, on its little leg coming down at it at extremely high speed now. The attack powerfully connects right on the monster's fierce head, breaking it completely apart quite immediately and killing it instantly indeed. His mother is still lying there on the floor now, unconscious there as the baby slowly walks up directly to her to check on her condition. So, as much here as he's not too fond of her just yet, it would have been way more truly dangerous for him indeed if she wasn't truly there then, trying so hard to protect him full. Not only did she bravely come come here to try and valiantly save him despite all of the danger. She also risked her precious life to completely save him indeed. There's still truly a lot of hardcore training she unfortunately has to go through later, before she can ultimately be useful to him later on. But it seems he can at least trust her deep, as he thinks that silently to himself now. The after effects of his raw power come crashing in hard, and he collapses weakly beside her there, losing his consciousness entirely as well now, when he wakes up again much later on. He has a bandage wrapped on his head here, and a strange red-eyed man is fixing a new diaper for young Hachin. Truly doesn't recognize the stranger at all, and his quick immediate form of self-defense is to pee right on the man, to try and simply scare him right away then. His dear mother quickly rushes over to apologize now, hoping the strange man doesn't get too offended here. He calmly wipes the pee right off his face now, accepting the strong fact that he most likely just scared the little kid, and that's probably exactly why it happened here. He then softly asks her if she's getting along well with the dog, and it truly looks like his mother is familiar with this man. This man is most likely the former owner of the dog then, and he quietly thanks her for taking care of the mutt so well. He is much more concerned about the clear fact that his own mother definitely saw the fearsome monster that attacked them previously, early, but she's surprisingly acting as if nothing at all has happened. Then he quickly notices that his own hair is wet too. That likely means that she was crying in such secret again, while he himself was asleep soundly. The man fully tells her that they are soon heading out to stock up some supply, and also cordially invites her to come along there with them. That immediately catches Achan's attention here, as he quickly realizes that stocking up key supplies and buying them entirely out, with the huge help of some other people too, definitely isn't exactly a bad sudden decision at all. Before he actively follows along there with them now though, he ultimately still has to retrieve the crystal core itself from the fierce monster that he fully defeated first. He quickly jumps right out of his own stroller and hurries on over to the monster's remains now. Once he precisely uses his toad-like tail to absorb all of it, he then immediately gains the dangerous monster's immense power. This time here it seems to be some hardening skill here, and it already surely has fused into his very bloodstream there. It's really not a bad skill at all. And now, he can surely use his tail as some sort of shield. But just before he crawls back now to his stroll, he notices the strange man from before having a call right on her phone. He's talking intently with someone now, and they both seem to be talking about the sad fact that he and his mother are both indeed a burden to them all. He also chillingly reveals that the real reason he's bringing both of them along is just because in an emergency situation, they can both be used as mere decoys and at least be a little bit useful then. The guy is definitely truly crazy, and it's quite clear that he sadly has bad intentions too. He tells the person intently on the other side of the line now to take another separate vehicle and grab even more supplies too. As Young Hyun quietly listens in on their whole conversation, he accidentally bumps loudly the truck he's hiding behind now, and the man quickly turns right around now, ready to attack fiercely anyone that's secretly eavesdropping on him like this. The scary man then quickly comes right up to it, but he's clearly quite expecting to see someone threatening him, and sees, instead, a little innocent babe, which makes him truly let his guard right down. The strange man pats Achan gently on the head, and asks him just how he got all the way over there. Then quickly he gets right back on the phone, and tells the person precisely on the other end, that the baby heard their entire conversation now. But he truly doesn't care since he's just really a babe. On top of all of that, since Chan is just a small babe, killing the little guy won't be much of a problem at all. The baby then bends his innocent head anxiously, after he realizes that the crazy guy is completely insane. They all quickly pack themselves into the waiting car, and his mother secures him snugly in a child safety seat in back. Then they prepared immediately to set everything up, with the scary man and precisely 3 other people in the car. Hee-chan really doesn't trust the crazy man to be their driver, but sadly there's absolutely nothing he can truly do. If he could at the very least just use his hidden power, then he would be completely able to crush that crazy man instantly, and prove now who is stronger exactly. The others there in the car get acquainted now, and his mother tries hard to start a friendly conversation by kindly offering some snacks to the others there. It's incredibly strange how these people seem so very calm, despite all the chaos, everything that's truly going on. John starts to wonder if they've even seen any footage of Monster, and furthermore why anyone would even go outside currently. The man promptly starts the car, and waves now to the person back at the compound indeed, as they now leave on suddenly realizes that their lack of awareness is possibly a kind of defense. After all, even if people do see monsters or corpses, it doesn't always mean absolutely that the world's now ending. All they can do really is act normal and try to really hide the fear. As they now continue to drive through the town street, Miss Ling brings out a box of sandwiches for sharing in the car. So the people in the car are all residents from this apartment building, the very same one that Achan and his mother are staying at too. There's his mother, Linging you now. a resident of room 502, precisely. Then there's Denko, a resident of room 103, UC 03. And finally, there's Ryuka-san too, a resident of room 104 as well. His mother continues to offer snacks to all the others in the car. As they all drive together to the supermarket soon, Ryuka-san directly asks his mother how she's managing to raise a child all on her own now. Despite just how incredibly tough it is after all, really, she's young and quite beautiful. And it certainly doesn't seem like she's even working either way. It's also quite dangerous to go outside now with a child too. His mother originally fully considered leaving him right at home, but she has recently noticed that whenever Achan is left quite alone, he actually starts to act quite crazy. She had to bring him right with her after giving it a lot of thought that Achan subconsciously tries to tell his mother now to stop talking, as she sighs, deeply thinking of the chaos that has occurred, because of her child specifically, over these past few days. One man at the front is Shin Minoru, that's from room 504. The driver remarks aloud that Ling is quite useful in any fight, especially given she managed to take down such a large monster quite impressively with just her taser gun too. They brought the dog along as well, in that truck following them, so they have some extra attack power, just if anything should happen. Hyen's mother simply doesn't remember what just happened, and she doesn't realize that it's her very own child who did it all. As they continue driving onward throughout this town, the driver realizes then that something is indeed wrong here. There really should be more monsters roaming around, but this entire place is surprisingly empty, it appeared. Suddenly, he now notices someone running along the road. Clearly this someone is desperately looking for some help. As she's running fast through the road, searching for somewhere safe to hide, the wall of a nearby building suddenly bursts right open, and now a monstrous hand reaches right out directly for her. Then she is suddenly, completely overrun by monsters all at once now. The driver urgently tells them to hold on very tight, as he now tries to skillfully maneuver the car, to narrowly avoid a collision with all the monsters here, and of course, the girl as well. The car and the truck both drift sharply to avoid the small monster crowd, and they manage to move by, passing safely through. The dog barks quite loudly in the back seat there, as the monsters now crowd over the girl, pulling her to the ground hard. She cries out for help as the monsters pile and attack her fiercely. Today has indeed been really hectic thus far. Right from the very moment Haechan and his mother left the house, they suddenly find themselves surrounded completely by monsters, and Haechan then takes a moment to analyze their dire situation now. The bug-headed monsters closely surrounding the car here, all visibly have sting marks right on their necks too. The handler of all the monsters must definitely be some type of cyborg. These parasite handlers are parasitic type monsters you see, and they clearly have the unique ability to turn humans into cyborg. Their individual power isn't much really, but in large numbers now, it's a different whole story, and as long as the handle runs completely around, the cyborg monsters will just keep rapidly multiplying still. The best thing they can do now is find a way to escape right away. The rest of those bug monsters that aren't piling on the poor girl from earlier at all start quickly coming towards the car to furiously attack those inside. They are way too close now for the driver's liking here, and in just a matter of seconds here, one of the monsters somehow manages to break right through the windshield. Achan looks keenly around and knows that it's definitely indeed possible for them all now to survive this terrible situation here, but he certainly needs to drive them off very quickly before they ultimately become overwhelmingly large now. Unfortunately though, sadly, he can only actually use his mighty powers for 30 seconds now, and if he wastes nearly all of it just here, then it's definitely all over completely. He looks around the entire car, and he wonders much if any of the passengers is really able to bravely fight. Ryu desperately looks out from the car at the girl. She's getting beaten and devoured by those monsters out there. She cries out for the others in the car to stop wasting time and save her now. That immediately pisses off Haechan greatly now, as he realizes she's just going to be a burden to them going forward indeed. Instead of trying to figure out a way to help everyone involved, she's just crying for everyone to save her, only her. They might as well just leave her for dead, because it's not like she's useful at all in a fight really. Shin Minoru tells them that they shouldn't go and save that girl. She already has the same wound as all those monsters on her neck now, meaning that she's most likely already a completely lost cause now. Shin Minoru clearly does have sharp eyes indeed, but he's probably too old now to be of any real use in battle, but he might at least be strong enough to carry necessary supplies though. The driver asks them if they should charge right into the mess now, but if they are indeed going to charge in now, then they should deal with those monsters there first now, before they all just get wiped out entirely. You see, Haechan really doesn't like that idea at all, because it truly seems like he's deliberately trying to get them all killed here. They simply cannot rely on that guy when it really counts most. The person driving the truck right behind them is likely the very same one. Denko picks up a hard, solid object from somewhere inside the car now, and announces boldly that he will go and help in whatever way he can. He may look like a wimp, but he might also just be the type of character that, surprisingly, goes completely berserk out of absolutely nowhere. Truly, he's certainly trying to say aloud that he's definitely not scared whatsoever, but it's quite clear that he is not reliable at all. Actually, indeed, it simply looks like there really isn't anyone at all in this car that can take down those monsters here. Surrounding them, his mother quickly reaches into her bag to get that gun of hers, the very one that she was clearly using earlier. Once Den hears that she is in fact going outside with her said gun here, he suddenly decides right then that he doesn't need to go anymore then. As they are all talking now, a sharp object suddenly stabs straight into the car now, going cleanly straight through poor Den's chest entirely. Then he is suddenly tossed clean out of the car like some ragdoll now. Then sharp, dangerous claws dig deep into the side of the vehicle now, and a different insect monster then. The peacock thrusts its terrifying head into the car now, and immediately stabs a sharp claw right into Reeve, killing her instantly immediately. It truly looks like this is the very main body of all the cyborg. It must have been hiding somewhere secret, waiting for just the right crucial time to pounce hard. Since there's clearly no one in the car reliable at all, it looks like the baby here is going to have to step up quick and deal with this tense situation now, before he can even get up and move. A sharp venomous stinger heads straight towards his mother's way. He's simply not quite fast enough to stop it closing in, but instead of the stinger stabbing her swiftly, it unexpectedly stabs deeply into the car cushion now. They swiftly look to the front of the car to see Shin Minoru unexpectedly holding the monster back so strongly. Shin Minoru quickly realizes that this very person must be the boss monster of them all. The angry monster turns around quick and tries to stab his face, but he grabs the stinger tight and breaks it instead clean. Yes, it's clear that this man is something else entirely now, since he managed to take down the main boss of all the monsters here, with his own bare hands indeed. The monster screams loudly as he stabs its own stinger into its neck now. Then as the monster's terrible screams eventually start to fade away, it dies off, and Shin Minoru drops the dead monster body off now, making it fall straight down hard to the street floor below. As he roughly wipes the blood clearly off his face now, he complains slightly about how old he is suddenly becoming. Meanwhile, Achan looks on up in total adoration now, as he realizes that the seemingly old man is a total powerhouse definitely. But then he realizes that the fierce fight isn't truly over yet. That monster on the ground suddenly has a dangerous second phase. Therefore, they can't let their guard down completely just yet. Haichin doesn't know exactly who this scary old man is, but only aiming directly for the heart clearly isn't enough here to kill this monster. Just exactly as he somewhat expected, the monster starts to rise up again, and clearly, it's about to quickly attack once more. Sadly, he doesn't currently have a working voice to talk, so he simply has only one clear way left now to warn the tough old man before things turn really bad now. He cries out as loud as truly he can right now, causing the old man to glance behind him quickly and narrowly dodge a sneak attack from that insect monster right there. The old man has clearly seen this sort of thing before, back when he was still a member of the Special Combat Division. He immediately then realizes fully that the monster won't die just by stabbing its heart. That clearly explains why the man seems to be so remarkably strong. He used to work within the Special Combat Division after all, and that's exactly why he has training now to deal with monsters just like these. The man jumps directly out of the car to bravely attack the monster and bring it down surely. It truly looks like it won't simply die easily from simple, basic method. So, Shin Minoru decides that this very time now, he will use practically all his energy to definitively crush the monster once and for all here. He firmly grabs the monster right by its head and slams his knee hard into its face now, causing its skull to crack almost immediately now, just from even the little fierce fighting that he's doing right now. It's quite obvious that he possesses refined combat battle knowledge overall, and for him here to make the crucial decision to go directly for the head came swiftly here. He truly should have realized sooner that this old man was from within the military circle, and indeed, that he has quite special skills beyond others in this car, from his past life, when he was the organization's very own dog. Even though the military was seemingly already wiped out that, by the time he started seriously going on his mission, he heard specific rumors that, after the government completely collapsed, the military soon became the largest force resisting all the monsters. They were considered the true enemies of the organization back then, but among all of them, there existed the Special Combat Division that, which worked directly at the very core unit deeply. It certainly seems that they underwent a special harsh training now, and they were clearly a thorn firmly in the organization's side. Thanks to this man's brave efforts entirely, they can finally go to the supermarket and get needed supplies surely. His mother initially does suggest that they head back home too, but Shin Minoru immediately shuts this dangerous idea down fast, and directly tells her that if they simply go back home, something terrible else might happen to them, so they urgently need to simply keep moving moving forward now. It truly looks like they finally have a reliable person now. But now one has to figure out how to truly get this guy on their side. Maybe he surely can send out a fake military command now. Or he could blackmail her to send some insider info instead. Or perhaps he can just cling to the man and force him indeed to protect them. Just even the mere thought of using the man for his own personal gain makes the baby grin quite evilly now, as he's intently thinking of what exactly to do. The kind man pats him gently on the head now. Then he tells Miss Lin now to stay very close to him with Chan so he can protect them a little bit. She immediately agrees and promises now not to be a burden to him at all, and to follow him diligently now. He simply tells her not to expect too much indeed from it, and he just truly wants to help them. She earnestly thanks the man for his help earlier in valiantly taking down that boss monster too, but he tells her softly not to mention it. After all, indeed, if John hadn't cried earlier then he surely would have definitely died from the monster's brutal attack. Then he tells the little baby that the more foolish someone is surely, the more they desire profit here. That almost sounds like he could read the child's very mind now, and know quite the selfish thoughts that he had earlier on. Achan crosses his arms quite firmly, and decides now to peacefully accept the help from the man but he knows quite well that Minoru's flawed personality will surely end up being his downfall. They finally reach the supermarket that they've been aiming for closely since the beginning now, but the main gate is quite closed. It certainly looks like it's their regular day off here. The ad had said that the supermarket would be open to all, but the place is clearly closed now for business today. John surely knows that Hot is a master hacker now, and she probably shut the supermarket remotely from afar. Suddenly the main door opens right up quickly, and the driver explains now to them that he had a friend remotely open the door from somewhere else entirely. As he says all that, he smiles and flashes his own phone quick, reminding them quite clearly that they should thank his friend later on. That clearly makes Haechan very suspicious indeed, and so, he sneakily pulls his mother's phone right out of her bag to check. He opens all the messages and sees that Hot sent him a message very recently, informing him directly that she saw their car clearly on the security camera, and that she opened up the gate for them. Indeed, that certainly confirms that the driver definitely and truly knows Hot. That now makes things a lot more complicated. Now, the man smirks wickedly and pulls out a remote to control the car. The old man fully realizes the dangerous situation is slipping out of his control now. He leaps forward swiftly to tackle the driver right away, but at the last moment, he's thrown violently back by a stack of cartons instead. In the next tense moment, the old man finds himself staring directly down the cold barrel of a gun. With a chilling chuckle, the organization member calmly remarks now that he won't let a skilled military veteran slip away quite so easily. He then coldly warns him specifically not to move at all. But unexpectedly, young Lin bravely steps directly in, gun held firmly in hand, and warns the armed man to back quickly away from the old man or she'll shoot at once. She boldly demands to know precisely his hidden motive. The man, clearly quite entertained now, realizes just exactly how spectacularly clueless she truly is, for not having fully grasped the grave situation until just now. He even cynically asks if she'd still naively think he's innocent after he shoots her soon. Lin, still living peacefully in her own cheerful bubble, still offers cheerfully to share the supplies, just like she's hosting a picnic outside. He actually laughs aloud at her utter naivety now, which honestly is almost quite impressive. She's clearly acting like she's fully calling the shots now. He then swiftly reminds her of that time he left the dog there, not exactly out of kindness, obviously, but simply because when he went to then collect the money, the true owner was already quite dead indeed. So naturally he surely figured he might as well just get rid of the dog too. That's precisely when she showed herself up, and he thought it so would be entertaining indeed to see her jug a fully grown dog and even a small baby then. Shockingly enough, things actually worked out back then greatly. But now, currently with his own gun ready in hand, as then he rejects the mere idea of sharing the crucial supply. There simply and truly isn't enough to actually go around right now. The very next moment all his lackeys point their guns right at them. The cruel boss declares that weaklings like Simple Lin should now die. This very moment powerfully triggers a memory in K, when indeed he was under the fierce control of the organization, left now with no real choice but to eat mere rats just to sate his hunger. Back then, surely he was looked down quite upon just like this. He suddenly snaps right out of his reverie now, when his loyal dog gets fully ready to attack the goon. K immediately throws that slime at the power generator, which causes a blackout just the very next moment now. Complete darkness swallows everything whole, and the boss loudly shouts for everyone to cease shooting until they find some light source. At the same exact time, the boss raises his own gun. K now seizing the critical opportunity. K activates his hidden power and is about to punch him hard, when the wise old man suddenly intervenes quickly, swiftly kicking the boss directly instead. Both K and the old man look at each other in great astonishment now. K understands it's his bad luck to be clearly seen by this old man, who is indeed a part of the military force. Eventually, they might consider him a monster for real now, and there's a real chance he'll be turned into a research subject indeed, specifically because of his hidden powers as was expected. The old man is thinking clearly along the same lines he is now, wondering to himself whether K is truly a monster instead. Just then, as he prepares to attack the baby now, K immediately leaps up and settles quickly on an upper rack, right there in the old man's immediate blind spot indeed. The old man suddenly switches on his bright flashlight now. K had indeed also planned to turn on his light, but he's now quite wary of the old man ahead. He quietly scoffs too, realizing he has absolutely no choice now but to take down the old man first. However, his initial plan is interrupted by a sudden sharp noise that alerts everyone. People look up sharply and spot a strange slime that distracts the entire group totally. With just a smug smile now, K then takes his usual seat in a trolley and prepares fully to enjoy the wild show. To his sheer astonishment now, the slime then transforms into a complete doppelganger of the old man right there. It suddenly attacks him directly, and soon everyone finds themselves fighting fiercely against their own clones now. The old man too joins, braces himself for a tough battle against his exact double now, cursing softly under his breath at this terrible new disaster now. Lin is utterly terrified to see her perfect clone twin standing right there, now in front of her, and she pleads with it, just not to come any closer please. Her desperate voice draws the old man's sudden attention. He glances right back and sees K crying sadly nearby, while his own clone tries so hard to climb right into the trolley. The old man assumes he simply must have seen this slime clone before. That clearly means our little dude's sneaky plan is working quite perfectly, as he's now shedding those crocodile tears of his, just waiting patiently for the old man to swoop right in, like a true knight there in shining armor indeed, as truly expected. The old man immediately attacks the evil clone when it tries to reach K then. However, he grows frustrated and angry when the clone reforms itself effortlessly now, thanks to its strange, slime-like nature that, realizing brute force alone simply won't work now, he hurls his old shovel aside quickly, deciding it's finally time to adopt a brand new strategy, better suited, indeed, to dealing with vile monsters just like this one. He opens his sturdy armory box and carefully pulls out his gun now. Meanwhile, Lin manages to bravely defeat her own clone using a strong electric gun. Due to electricity being indeed a known weakness of slime creature, K also defeats his clone through a truly relentless barrage of attacks now. Another rather known weakness in the end for sure. The old man destroys his clone using just raw firepower alone. But this tense battle isn't truly over yet now. Another menacing slime clone launches itself right at Lin now, only for the old man to shoot it down at literally the last moment. However, the vile creature is still alive even so, trying to recover now, but the old man continues the intense fight, determined and driven to finish it off finally. He may not have fully killed it off completely, but he's surely done some very serious damage now. But at the same exact time, the boss also fully gets back on his feet, absolutely ready to fully attack once more. Just as the old man remains intensely occupied fighting off this slime, K curses rather under his breath while quite frustrated by the grave situation. He simply can't use his true powers openly. Doing so openly could fully expose his true secret that he's totally taken by great surprise when the boss suddenly grabs him hard and immediately takes him fully hostage right now, warning Lin and also the old man there to drop their weapons now. What the boss doesn't realize now, however, is that he has just made things far more convenient for our clever boy. K silently activates his slime power here and fully takes control of one of the boss's lackeys there. That very lackey then unseals a grenade then, and in the next explosive moment, a massive explosion rocks the entire area. Though the boss survives the sudden blast now, he still indeed has K firmly in his grip. K, however, uses the ensuing chaos fully to his great advantage, as he then spots a first-grade crystal core there, and quickly snatches it with his tail now. Before anyone notices, the boss, badly shaken and nearly killed directly in the explosion, rushes into another room and slams the heavy door shut right behind him, in a truly desperate bid to protect himself fully. Inside the room there, several more goons are waiting anxiously. The boss declares firmly that it's time to quickly move, and orders all of them to immediately prepare the car. As they're swiftly getting out of here now, the goons immediately begin to fully comply now. At that very moment, our boy keenly notices another new tattoo, this one etched right into the side of the man's neck there, revealing his real name. Now everything becomes quite crystal clear to K here. This person is none other than the true big boss of the Lie organization. He's the one indeed who turned K's entire life into a living hell. In his previous life back then, then though, and however, Lai always wore a mask, which is why K never got to see his face then. Who would have actually thought he'd get the chance to witness it now? As a baby, truly no less here. K's baby glare is so very intense that Lai actually feels it now, and even scolds him in slight annoyance indeed. The very next moment, a red mist now begins to fill the air around them. This is actually called a crimson dust here, which is a truly dangerous phenomenon in this catalyst-infested world now. Hazardous indeed to pretty much any human being. Those who come into direct contact with it either quickly die or mutate into monsters now. That fully explains why just a few moments later, several of Lai's lackeys begin to wildly transform into grotesque beasts now, and charge right toward them. But Lai, in his usual cruel fashion, indeed, he decides now to use K as monster bait. Without a second thought, truly. He tosses the baby into the room with the creatures now, and swiftly flees the scene, leaving him behind them. K as usual here understands the cruel plan well too, but he's quite ready to unleash his true power now. Even with a direct witness present here, he pulls the core from his pocket and activates it full. In the very next moment, he transforms into a full-grown fighter, primed now for battle. The overwhelming monster charges right at him fast, but his tentacles intercept the attack without any hesitation. Now fused completely with the crystal core here, his powerful abilities reach a new height now, so incredibly enhanced that the monsters around him barely register now as being anymore. Another creature attempts a laser strike quickly from its eye. Without even flinching, K advances straight through that beam and pierces directly into the creature's very body. He's almost truly amused by just how easily he controls his body. His tentacles now move with a deadly, swift grace, slicing through the monsters like mere vegetables on any chopping board. Meanwhile, Lee watches this scene unfold with such growing horror. Confused and deeply shaken, he fails to grasp K's true identity, having entirely missed the intense transformation from infant to warrior. One look at his pale face tells K pretty much everything he knows. Lee doesn't quite recognize him just yet. That makes it all indeed the more satisfying now. K moves forward now, his eyes dark with clear purpose. There's absolutely no hesitation present now. The pivotal moment for true revenge has finally come now. Even terrified, Lee immediately prepares to now defend himself. He pulls out his gun then and fires directly at K now. Fortunately, K is indeed faster than the very bullet itself, though the body he's transformed into surely isn't his original. Compared directly to his former infant form, the speed plus agility it surely offers are on another level entirely. As K closes that gap, just an inch or so away now, Lai assumes surely he must be a monster now. But our young boy here doesn't give him a chance to even speak. In one incredibly swift motion, he hurls Lai across this room and slams him hard into the corner, now coughing up quite a bit of blood. Lai mumbles softly about a story he once heard from someone before, but now sees was really true. K briefly wonders who that person could truly be, but he doesn't have the time at all to dwell too much on it now. Lai suddenly and swiftly pulls out a syringe quickly, and he injects himself with quite a strange drug, truly. Within just moments, his own body now begins to shift quickly, grotesquely morphing fully into a monstrous new form now. K is watching this transformation happen. K immediately realizes the cold truth, that long before the great catalyst event, the shady organization had already been experimenting fully with this drug, a formula designed to turn normal humans into real monsters right now, without stripping away any of their own sanity. As this new monster grows, K is quite visibly terrified. It lunges quickly at him immediately here, and though he barely manages to block that fierce attack, he quickly retaliates now with his own tentacle. But indeed, from that single clash now, he realizes his opponent is truly no ordinary threat. The monster continues now its relentless assault, striking fiercely at him with silver tentacle, which K narrowly dodges just indeed by observing movement. K understands this creature was meant to trap him from the start. A terrible chill runs down his spine as he recognizes it clearly, that this is truly the same monster that killed him in past life. But this time, he's truly not the same person here. He's not that helpless version indeed of himself anymore, and he surely has no intention of dying to the same beast again. With truly renewed determination now, he evades each brutal attack with focus and defiant energy. Then suddenly, a powerful explosion erupts now against the monster. As the dust slowly settles down, K sees that old military man reloading his guns with bullets now, which he indeed has stolen from the East Lotus Society. The stark irony surely isn't lost on him now. The old man is now using the bad guy's very weapons for a good cause now. Meanwhile, K tries to process this sudden shift within the battle. The old man is directly targeting the giant eyes monster quickly, which is apparently Lai, still disguised in his monstrous form indeed. Watching the tides really turn, K can't help but grin widely now. The game is changing fast, and this time it's in his clear favor here. Lai remembers the time when he joined their organization then, when one of its representatives lures him right in smoothly, by warning him about an impending catastrophe in the entire world. She makes it indeed sound like Joining the organization is truly the only way for him to survive now. Then she hands him a drug as a generous gift for actually joining now, while adding that it surely can help him uncover his real true nature. At that time, as he carefully looks at the medicine closely, he isn't quite convinced by any of her exact words yet. He thinks he already knows his real true nature very well now, but once he takes the injection and awakens his monstrous other side, he becomes quite convinced that she was telling the honest truth now, because he is indeed born into a monster that thrives directly on exploiting other people's hidden weaknesses. For example, even when he is just a kid still, he tells that fat lady that her husband is outright cheating on her. When she gets angry now, he adds further, as solid proof that he heard her husband calling her an ugly, sleeping piggy just a little while ago here. The woman, who might be already quite insecure about her figure, immediately believes him then. And she becomes furious with her husband quickly after getting hit. The betrayed husband decides to divorce her soon. When he leaves truly, she is devastated by her own perceived ugliness, and like a false guardian angel, Lai lures her easily into his waiting trap by promising her to introduce her to people who definitely won't bully her at all. This is exactly how he exploits people's fragile heart, by first gaining their blind trust, then draining them fully later. His cruel scamming nature has surely turned him into a true con artist, a real monster hidden in human skin. That's truly why he is now born as a level 4 monster, trickster Lai. Up until now then, the monster our boy witnesses are just mere hallucination. He sees the monster now that killed him in his past life, it seems, and is scared to death really by Lai's trickery. Meanwhile, Lai decides not to waste his precious energy, and waits for that right moment to strike back fiercely and win. In the very end, suddenly indeed, he is struck sharply by a bullet, and startles now to see the old man ready to fight him again. He is frustrated much by the old man's lone life, and immediately then attacks him head on. But the old man simply stays hidden safely, launching fierce attacks without revealing himself now. Lai attacks again now, but his strike meets a series of huge explosions. The intense clash creates a large amount of thick smoke and dust, making it hard really for him to see anything clearly. Clearly now taking full advantage of the given situation, K swiftly moves into his blind spot from directly behind. When K attacks swiftly, Lai curses loudly in response. Furious that he has snapped out of that hallucination so very quickly, K steps forward now, and declares now that Lai is nothing more than just a level 4 conman, who can just never be anything truly special. With that fierce attack, Lai strikes with his dark tentacle, making Lai bitterly curse those very tentacles now. In the next swift moment, Lai tries to craft an illusion around K, but this desperate time, it simply doesn't quite work. He is frustrated deeply by the failure of his skill. K keenly remembers the time he tasted death in his past life, all because of the terrible hallucination that, while now silently thanking Lee sincerely, he unleashes his formidable full power suddenly. Lai is quite scared as K with swift lightning speed hurls himself forcefully toward him swiftly. Lai is bleeding profusely after being directly attacked by K. K then asks him calmly if he is truly done yet, but deep inside, he knows this is only just the beginning now. In 2 short hours, another fierce wave of crimson dust will hit. It will be nothing like what humanity has faced before ever. This will be a deformed tide that fully breaks hell open wide. As he now prepares to fully finish Lai now, Lai desperately tries to completely stop him quickly. K firmly responds that he's not interested in any last words now, and is fully determined to end him right here. Meanwhile, the old man is also intently watching this scene unfold. K clearly understands that Lai is indeed a tough opponent who still wants a true fight, despite all of his significant injuries now. So it's better to finish him off quickly by going straight for his vulnerable neck. Just as he's about to strike decisively now, he is suddenly hit by a powerful illusion. His dear mother appeared, pleading emotionally with him, asking if he's truly going to kill her too. He visibly hesitates, if just for a fleeting moment, and that brief moment costs him dearly in this fight, as he is suddenly hit hard by a rapid series of powerful explosions. Taking full advantage of this new opening now, Lai fiercely attacks again, and K barely manages to dodge the blow. As K swiftly gets back up on his own feet, Lee emphatically declares that no matter what happened, K simply won't be able to kill him here. He can now clearly read K's deepest thoughts and easily predict his every move now. Lai knows fully that K now has only a single desperate attack left in it. At that point our main dude considers just leaving Lai to the old man instead. At the same time, almost like truly reading his thought process, Lai dodges a bullet fired fiercely by the old man and mocks him now, asking quite pointedly if he plans to just stand there idle. Like always, K curses softly under his breath with frustration, realizing it far too late that normal weapons just don't work against a level 4 powerful monster. Lai is growing clearly overconfident in this fight, believes now he can easily see through the old man's tactics here. With a menacing laugh indeed and a bold declaration that he is a divine being, Lai heads directly toward the very place where the old man is hiding away. But as soon as Lai reaches that very spot now, a grenade planted skillfully by the old man then explodes violently. The moment Lai steps closer, clearly seeing Lee injured badly. Kay compliments the old man's incredibly sharp instincts right now. Then he quietly wonders aloud where the old man has now gone to, almost as if entirely in direct response here. The old man suddenly appears right behind Lai and is about to truly attack him, but Lai barely dodges it all at the very last moment indeed. Lai prepares himself now to strongly counter-attack soon, but Kay urgently calls out his given name to distract him well. The sudden interruption startles Lee deeply. Grinning, Lee boldly asks Kay if he wants to know his very future. While he is momentarily distracted by that, the old man shoots him suddenly, without warning. A chilling vision penetrates Lee's very mind now, as he sees himself only dealing with weaklings there, people who are entirely beneath him overall. Kay is showing Lee a future where he is always just the loser, always completely useless in the end really. Kay tells him directly that this is indeed his fate. Furious now, Lee grabs his head and denies the terrible claim. Another vision flashes that he's bowing before others sadly. In a pathetic stance, he refuses to ever accept this future. Enraged thoroughly, he lashes out wildly now, but in the end, ends up only injuring himself badly. The very next moment here, they all stare in disbelief. Lee has cut off his own head then. Watching the unfolding scene here, Kay grins widely. He has fooled the greatest con man of them all. As Lee's head flies violently from his body then, he once again keenly glimpses Kay's memories deep within. His eyes truly widen in fear as he sees the very monster standing before it. The next chilling moment his severed head sharply hits the cold ground, and he screams out for Kay to immediately get out of his tormented mind. He desperately yells at Kay now, declaring that this grim warning about the baby truly fully meant this. The old man glances sharply at Kay now, his attention piqued, and Lai continues grimly onward, his voice strained now. Kay is described as the egg of dire calamity, startling both Kay and the wise old man greatly. Lai warns grimly that by starting this brutal revolution, Kay has forfeited any real chance at a truly normal life now. From this moment on, the shadowy organization will hunt him relentlessly down, before he can further reveal even more dark secret. Another gunshot powerfully rings out and Lai is silenced by a swift bullet. Kay and the old man turned very quickly toward the echoing source now. A menacing new figure steps ominously out from his black jeep, calmly explaining now that if one doesn't swiftly kill their true enemy in time, they will invariably become their very own worst enemy instead. The very moment Kay realizes the man is quite certainly from the military now, he goes on very high alert as the newcomer calls the old man teacher, crediting him directly for the very lesson he just spoke now. His real name is Captain Lion here, but he is even more famously known as the feared Snow Wolf. Before the student and the teacher exchange warm greeting, another huge monster comes up quickly behind Lion then, without even flinching even or truly moving. He instantly kills the monster instead. Our guy who is watching now from behind the box is astonished indeed to see it. At that moment in time, the old man simply asks Lion why he is there on purpose, because he intends now to go home and properly look after his grandchild there, while quickly taking his phone out now. Lion pleads strongly with his teacher now to return to headquarters immediately, as they are currently in a true state of emergency. He then quickly shows him a picture clearly of his granddaughter who appears safe and sound. He firmly reminds him that the military sorely needs their commander there. While carefully listening to this part, Kay now immediately realizes that this old man is none other than the true top commander of the entire military force. Then Lion directly asks the old man now to confirm for sure his granddaughter's safety and well-being. The old man now agrees to go along with him directly. Meanwhile, Kay is truly scared here, and unsure now of what exactly to do when he moves slightly. It unfortunately draws their immediate attention before a moment has passed. Lion is already there, directly on him, gun now point. Fortunately enough, Kay has already quickly transformed into his baby form. Lion suspiciously and directly asks whether he truly is the monster he saw a little while ago precisely. Kay, meanwhile, is scared nearly to death, wondering now if Lion is going to shoot him. But thankfully the old man quickly steps right in, informing his student that he is the very one who placed Kay there precisely, while carefully scooping him right into his own arm. He whispers very gently to Kay now to keep pretending well. With that, Kay starts crying right then like a real baby, which he literally is in truth. Lion then comments on how well he truly goes with the baby indeed. Suddenly then our boy now senses a strange aura keenly coming from Lion, and looks at him very closely right in that very moment clearly. He wonders deeply whether he has seen him before, specifically in the organization perhaps. Moments later, Kay is carefully placed in the nursery now with the other baby. Just when the nurse gently places him in the crib itself, Lion firmly tells her to go immediately back now, and she complies fully without question it seems, all while he is subtly pretending to sleep soundly. Kay intently listens to absolutely all of this going on, and he wonders now about the whereabouts of the old man. He also further wonders about the place he's in as well. Suddenly, a baby starts to loudly cry right there, quickly drawing Lion's immediate attention at first now. He smoothly comments on the baby's surprising energy, asking him quietly to be silent. But then, his tone drastically shifts indeed, as he uses his dark skill to instantly make the baby fall completely asleep then. Meanwhile, our boy K is witnessing all of this careful, eyes widening in utter horror there. He clearly remembers now. That lion is quite an important figure within the whole organization. With the formidable code name Tank, not only that, he possesses a very rare and truly formidable ability still, in which he can fully exploit and then explode the blood inside anyone's very body. At will he now knows that Lion has cruelly used his skill on the baby, which causes critical oxygen deprivation now, making the baby unconscious rather than just falling asleep natural. He is someone K surely knows he must be cautious of, especially after his wicked earlier attempt to kill him off. Now Lion is slowly moving directly toward our baby. Meanwhile, K is deeply thinking about his very own ability, which he has mysteriously awakened too early on. Considering the secretive organization has only just barely started, he curiously wonders whether he is already one of the compatible few destined to awaken his true powers before the grim end time. At that intense moment, Lion decides to inspect K and commands him to be quiet now. K silently holds his worried breath the entire time now. As soon as Lion finally moves completely away now, K lets out a massive sigh of immense relief before leaving now. Lion menacingly comments on how fun it actually is. As he leaves, K anxiously glances around to ensure he's truly gone now. Then he instantly jumps quickly to his very feet. He suddenly recalls Lion being a cunning con artist, someone extremely skilled who can easily manipulate weak minds. K possesses abilities like God-level absorption itself, which creates such a barrier in his keen mind to protect his very thoughts from Lion. Now, in order to protect himself truly against any lie now, he carefully tunes his blood flow himself, slows it all down and allows the fake blood to be automatically absorbed entirely. After keenly observing it, he looks thoughtfully around at the other kids here, and even wonders whether they are also indeed the Calamity Eggs themselves. It's really not like he isn't quite familiar with the term itself. He has clearly heard it before in his past life before, but due to his lower social status way back then before, he never truly had proper access to that kind of vital information then. Still, he truly believes Lion must know something more about it now. He then carefully analyzes the situation further with the military itself, which was sadly eliminated in his past life now by the organization itself. His innermost thoughts drift back to the old man himself, who clearly doesn't fully trust Lion at all, since he truly wanted to personally check up on his own grandchild now. He also now wonders about the quite intense inspection Lion performed on him himself. There are currently just far too many complex thoughts swirling rapidly in his own sharp mind. Then, he suddenly remembers his own dear mother and his cherished dog indeed, but he quickly jerks those thoughts completely away. Yeah, he's simply not in a situation now where he can fully think about others. All he truly needs to focus on is his detailed escape plan now. He then tries to open the door fully with his ability, but he just can't use it. He recalls the crystal core obtained early, which he then used to completely fuse the ability called Dark Shadow. But specifically during this fusion process, he just can't use many other of his abilities. Currently, at the moment, he can only effectively use Dark Shadow and God Barrier. The latter specifically helps him fully resist mental attacks now, but using Dark Shadow is just too powerful, and it's quite risky to use in his current delicate situation here. So, he wisely decides to wait and better understand the intentions here of those around him before using his powers and risking certain unwanted exposure now. So far, simply pretending to be just a baby has worked quite well for him. Suddenly now, he notices something clearly emerging from another crib nearby. He carefully looks down at another infant baby, whose own legs are clearly turning into tree branches now. So this baby must be indeed another compatible one, just like it. Then he keenly notices several other babies with truly different ability. He vividly remembers from his past life that these babies were always locked far away. Now he fully understands it, that they are all placed somewhere similar to where he is right now. Suddenly now, a tree vine quickly scoops him right up. When he earnestly tries to fully break free, he just simply can't get free. He wonders for a moment now whether he should use his great ability, but his thoughts are interrupted by another young boy there, who fully helps him break free. Turns out to be just a little boy there, who keenly advises him now to just pretend to sleep soundly, so now he should just quietly behave now. K is quite taken aback to see that the boy is just 5 years old there, and has clearly already mastered his abilities truly. Suddenly he curses quietly under his breath as he hears a sound behind him. The little boy immediately escapes quickly, completely disappearing from his sight. K turns swiftly to see nurses entering the room for the routine inspection, and quickly pretends to be asleep soundly on the cold floor now. The head nurse clearly instructs everyone to gather each and every baby. One of them soon notices him lying right there and scoops him up as well now. As all of this unfolds now, K truly wonders what's really going on here indeed, and what they specifically plan to do with him then. After a little while, the nurses place each and all the babies on the cold floor. He slightly opens his young eyes and sees absolutely nothing, but only dark